All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and make this guy into what's called a block, and you'll see why later. This is a little, it's interesting. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to window around this guy, and I'm going to type block. And it's going to ask me for a base point. I'm going to pick the bottom left corner of it, and I'm going to give it a name. I'll name it cell 1-1. Okay, click OK. So you'll see that this guy picks as a unit now, right? Like it's just one unit. And so what I want to do now is I want to take this guy and array it. So I'm just going to take a copy. So I'll, on the Alt key, sort of copy this over to the side here. And I'm going to array it. So I'm going to pick it and go to array, right? And in the X direction, let's do 10. And in the Y direction, we'll do 10. And in the Z direction, we'll do 1. We don't want any in the Z. And then it wants the cell spacing. So you can just pick the bottom left corner and pick the top left corner. And then hit enter, and you get that guy. Okay. Now, what the block allows you to do, let me see if I can do this actually in, is you can come in, and if I double click on this block, it actually opens up this little add remove object. And I can either come in here and remove this object or relocate it or do something. So for example, if I delete this and click OK, now it actually updates every single one of those. So the block, it basically takes the definition of this thing, puts it inside its little brain, and then lets you modify it, right? So if I Control Z back, it does that. Okay. So now I'm going to take this guy and move it over, make a copy of it over here, and I'm going to make a tile out of it, right? So I'm going to pick this block, and I'm going to polar array it. Array polar, and I'm going to pick the center point, right? And then number of items 4. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the fill is 360, so I can just hit enter, right? And then if I hit enter again, it does that guy for me. Now I could take this guy and block it, still using the bottom part of that, and I'll name this tile 1-1. Okay, click OK. And now I can come in and array that. Same settings are fine, right? And go from there to there and hit enter. And now I have a whole other pattern. And I can actually come in and let me make a copy of this over here. I should have done that before, but make a copy, right? I can either alter this block or this block. So for example, if I come in and double click on this and let me get rid of this guy, delete. Whoops, no, not that one. Let's get the bottom one, that one. Let's delete that one, right? And I click OK, then everything updates, right? You see now everything is updated. I'll Control Z that. And then if I come in and I double click on this one, and let's say, I don't know, what do you want to do? Let's just rotate this one. So I'll rotate this cell here, and I'll pick the midpoint, and we'll rotate it, over to there, and hit enter, and click OK. Whoops. And then hit OK, and you'll see it'll update all of those, but it's not affecting any of these because, there's that. All right, so that's a little bit about repetition, so I think it would probably be better if I came in and rotated this one too, right? Well, actually, I mean, it's up to you. Like I can delete that and then just copy this one, from here to here. Enter. And then click OK, right? And now that guy does that, right? All right, although that's really the same as the other one. But so let's go back. And when we come back, we'll look at making these things 2.5D and then 3D.